In a repeat of the 1979 World Cup final, England take on West Indies in the World T20 final in Kolkata today. West Indies beat England in their group match, but England have since bounced back, winning 4 matches in a row in the tournament.
The final of a World Cricket event returns to Kolkata after 1987. This time, it's 1987 World Cup runners-up England against West Indies, locking horns in the quest to become the first team to win 2 World T20 titles. Going by what happened in the group stage and the way the semi-final in Mumbai panned out, West Indies hold the upper hand. This team has shown that they're not dependent on just Chris Gayle or just one performance to win their games. Instead, the team boasts of a battery of big hitters to push any team on the back foot. West Indies also have 2 ace spinners in Badri and Ben, who will look to exploit the conditions at the Eden Gardens.
Be pretty hard to get past the West Indies, I think. I think the West Indies will be very tough to beat.
West Indies have an enviable record against England in T20s, winning 9 of the 13 matches played. The team has also won every World T20 match against the 3 Lions.
For us, it's one last step in this tournament, and we'll focus on England, and but we more or less focus on us, and we believe if we do what West Indies can do, we'll always be destructive in this format.
However, England have found form since losing their first match. They chased down a target of 230 to beat South Africa by 2 wickets. England recovered from losing 6 wickets for 57 runs against Afghanistan to win by 15 runs. They beat Sri Lanka by 10 runs to enter the semi-final and then demolished in-form New Zealand by 7 wickets to enter the final. England too have an arsenal of heavy hitters to show off. Joe Root, Jos Buttler and Jason Roy have been their men who matter. So will West Indies become the first team to win 2 World Cups and 2 World T20 titles? Or will England make up for the loss in 1987? For now, Father Time has the answers. Sports Bureau, India Today.
Well, and 2-time world champions West Indies hold an advantage over England in the final. They have defeated the 2010 T20 champions first in 1979 and then later served the same doors in 2004 Champions Trophy final. Can Windies complete the hat-trick, or will England force a change this time?
This Sunday promises to be a blockbuster clash as 2 of the most dominant teams in World T20 are set to take on each other in the all-important final. Both former champions, West Indies and England, now have a chance to become the first team to win this coveted trophy twice. But this is not the first time when both these heavyweights will collide in the final of an ICC event.
Well, ahead of the big finale at Eden Gardens this evening, India Today spoke to 2 legends from both teams. Former West Indies fast bowler Ian Bishop and former England captain Nasir Hussain give an analysis of what exactly cricket fans can expect in the final.
Hello and a very warm welcome to all our guests and viewers on India Today. We're bringing you a special edition right from the heart of Kolkata. And since the flavour of the World T20 final is English swagger versus Caribbean calypso, we've got one from each side. With me is Boya Majumdar, a consulting editor. Joining us, former West Indian cricketer Ian Bishop, former England captain Nasir Hussain. Welcome, gentlemen, and congratulations to both of you for your teams making it to the final. But first up, Ian, the demolition of India in the semi-final, that must make you feel very confident of what the West Indies team can achieve in this final.
Yeah, I think we saw from the start of the tournament that, from that first game against England, ironically, that, they had some batting power. They've got a lot of experience with guys playing around the world quite often. So, it all goes well for the final tomorrow and generally for the future of West Indies cricket.
Nas, big final. I mean, England been there, done that once in 2010, but recently in the shorter formats, they've not been as great. If they win the final tomorrow, how big is it for English cricket?
Well, it's massive, and it's massive for this management and this era of English cricket, because you only have to go back a year to the 50-over World Cup, and we were absolutely abysmal, locked out by Bangladesh in Adelaide, didn't make it through to the knockout stages, and it was doom and gloom, and Owen Morgan was captain. Andrew Strauss came in as director of cricket, and we decided we had to focus in on one-day cricket and white ball cricket. Played brilliantly in the summer, but it's probably happened a little bit quicker than they thought. A young group, not as experienced in 2020 cricket as the West Indies, don't have people playing IPL. I think it's only Owen Morgan that's played IPL. Joss Butler's staying on for the Mumbai Indians. So lacking experience around the world. So they'll be surprised how quickly it's happened, but on their day they will know that they can beat the West Indies side.
Very similar sides, isn't it, Ian? Batting powerhouses, that's what this tournament has been about for both of these sides. Man to man on paper, how would you fairly assess both sides?
Yeah, I think you're right in saying that the power hitting volumes of both teams are quite full. A lot of the England players may be slightly different in that they tend to play probably in a bigger arc than the West Indian batsmen, who are strong in a specific area, mid-wicket to sort of wide, long off. But nevertheless, it will be entertaining, because England, though they're young, they lack fear, so they go hell for leather from the start of things, and so the West Indies will have to match that, and it may very well come down to who's canny and who's more meticulous in the field.
It's also, especially in Calcutta, with the pitch assisting the spinners a little bit. What we've seen so far, Badri and Suleiman Ben versus Moeen Ali and Rashid.
Yeah, I think history will tell you that, but we've been both down at the pitch today and there's a bit of grass on it. So I know Saurav was very keen to have a fair contest, and he wants to see a few runs, he wants to see the ball come onto the bat. So the groundsman has left a bit of grass. Whether that's still there tomorrow, well, there's 40 overs of the women's final beforehand and the hot sun beating down. Kolkata usually turns a little bit, so there will be assistance for the spinners. Badri in particular has been outstanding. He's bowled into power plays. He might not have got the wickets that some of the spinners have got, the New Zealand spinners, but I think he's going at like 5.6 runs per over. When you're bowling in a power play, is magnificent. So England will have to work out how to play him. England will just generally have to play spin a little bit better than they have done historically.
Let me ask you one before Shivani takes it over again. Samuel Badri, last 5-6 years, if you actually see his record, he's been right up there. We've celebrated Sunil Narine, but we've not celebrated him enough. But he's just been under the radar a little bit, but phenomenal in T20 cricket.
Yeah, as you said, the key word is enough. I think he's got his plaudits. He's been at times #1 in the world in T20. He's had his injury problems in recent years since the last World T20, but he almost seems to have a renaissance in this tournament. He's active in the field. His accuracy has come back, which I think lapsed a little bit because he hasn't played as much international cricket. West Indies have only played 8 international T20s. England played 1 more. And the 2 teams are in the final. I don't know how you come about with that equation. But he will be key. But more than that, the support he's getting from Suleiman Ben has also aided his performance.
Bishop, you mentioned lack of fear from the English batting lineup, slightly less experience than, let's say, some of the West Indians. But that's a very interesting thing, isn't it? Because the West Indians, too, very deceptive. They don't take a lot of tension. That's how they appear from off the field. They go about their job. They don't show a lot of nerves, and that can be very difficult and dangerous for England too, Nasser.
It can be, and it's not bluff and bravado. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you see these guys and within there's a lot of fear. I don't think it is with a lot. It might be with some of them, but not with a lot of them. And I think that's where experience will count for the West Indies. They've been here before. They've played a lot of IPL. They've played in front of a big crowd. They've played on this ground. So that will stand them in good stead tomorrow. But what England have shown is that they keep hearing this from all these sides, and they're not fearful of that at all themselves. They will just treat it like another game of cricket. Now, if they come unstuck, and they have come unstuck twice in this tournament, South Africa got 229 and England chased it down. Afghanistan had England 70 for Sun. They could have set 7. They could have gone out at that stage. In a final, whether they can do that when Gale's coming at them, when Russell's coming at them, that's what will be the real litmus test for England tomorrow. In a final, if it's slightly going in the wrong direction, can they dig deep yet again for the 3rd time to come back again?
But What would you attribute this to, Nasser? This change, this lack of fear, the fact that they don't fear any side, such a revival, as you mentioned, perhaps in a shorter amount of time than you would have expected as an expert. But what would you attribute this?
Oh, it's a combination of two things. Selection. I thought selection before the World Cup was poor. It was almost like your test match players. We couldn't upset Alistair Cook, Gary Ballance, these sort of guys, test match players, and you rewarded them with one day. When in fact these guys, we were doing county cricket in England, your Jason Roy, Alex Hales, Rashid, Willie, we're all doing very well, but we were a bit fearful, they're one day specialists, we can't upset Cook, we can't upset. So what they did in the end, too late, they got rid of a few and played these young guys. But also I think Owen Morgan and the management people have not, before it was always sort of pushing, you know, questioning people, what are you doing, what are you doing? I think Bayliss just sits there, Farbrace, Morgan, go out guys, go out and play, enjoy your cricket, go out and express yourselves. They're not constantly sort of in their ear stats and what, you know, this is what we've got to do and this is their bowler and this is what he does. I think they keep the game very simple. So you've got talent and keeping it simple, and that makes it a good combination.
Bish, coming to West Indies cricket, I mean, something that Nasser said, it's actually you know, the reverse of what England is, because England has been a really formidable test team, #1 test team, really good. West Indies test match cricket is in some disarray. 50-over cricket, not the best, but in T20s, not only in the leagues around the world, it's Caribbean flavour. Why is it that, you know, T20 is so good and not the other formats?
Probably sits well with some of the guys. You've seen them celebrate. They like to have fun, and T20 cricket, a large part of what surrounds it, maybe not what goes on the field, is about that. But
or is it about money?
I think it's part of to do with economics as well. A lot of the guys have sacrificed test match cricket. Lendl Simmons, for example, said, I don't want to play test match cricket because he wants to focus on the abbreviated version of the game. He can be away from home for a certain period of time, get very well paid for it, and he just finds he's better off for that reason. So too Dwayne Bravo. Andrew Russell talks about his knee cannot stand up to test match cricket. So it sits well with a few of them. I know there are a couple of them who still want to play test match cricket even though they won't confess to it, and I think that has more to do with an administrative management issue, the respect of a disconnect between management and player. If we get that going better, some of that experience can then go back into test match cricket and even 50-over cricket. I think we can have a really good 50-over side if we manage our players better.
Nasser, after the India loss to West Indies, you said perhaps you would have liked to see India in the final, rather West Indies in the final, but not so much now, isn't it? Psychologically, what do you think that display by the West Indian batsmen would have done to the English side?
Well, I mean, you're right. Before that first ball went down in that semi-final, I think if you'd asked England, you've got a final in Kolkata, who would you rather play? They'd have said, well, India in Kolkata will be a hard ask, you know, spinning pitch maybe, it'll be tough. But having seen the way West Indies played, I think they'll now be very fearful. Not fearful is the wrong word, actually.
Respectful.
They will be very respectful of this West Indies side. And also the most important thing that came out of that final was that it's not a one-man show.
Yeah.
It's not a one-man side.
That's the most scary part, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not get Gale, win the game. You know, maybe India thought that, get Gale, win the game, 20 for 3, could have been 4 with a no ball, whatever. But it's not that. There's still batting and a long way down as well. I mean, that's maybe, I think, how many hits has Darren Sammy had in the competition? A couple.
The only captain.
Yeah, but he's a very good player, coming in at 9 maybe. He can hit a long ball, but has he had enough? He's only had 2 hits in the last 3 or 4 weeks, so how much of a hit has he had down there? But they're a very long batting lineup. They're very experienced. Bravo's bowling at the death is very special, those sort of dipping Yorkers. However many times you've seen it and you've watched it on video and you've played it in the first game, it still deceives you when you go out there. So they'll know exactly what to expect. Right now they'll be sitting in their hotel room planning for Gale, but also realising that if Gale goes, someone else can hurt you.
In fact, Bishop was mentioning earlier that we haven't seen much of Brathwaite, isn't it? And that could be another trump card in the long batting lineup for West Indies?
Well, I think he plays part if he gets the opportunity. You don't want it to get that far down the order. And similarly with England as well. And you have Moeen Ali coming in where he comes in, and he saved them against Afghanistan, really. So it works on both sides. But as I said before, Carlos Brathwaite is a superstar under construction, I think. You know, the world will see the best of him. He's built like a side screen, to be quite honest, and he hits the ball as far. So a few years of experience, and I think he will be a world star in this format.
Let me ask sort of you both. You think on form, given the kind of play, two best teams have made it to the final? Nasir?
I think so, yeah. I think England have got better. You wouldn't have seen England in the first couple of games. You know, when South Africa set that 229 and England had lost their first game, you'd have been a brave man to say they would be here in Kolkata in a final. You would have said yes, West Indies, because I think everyone had West Indies and possibly South Africa from that group to go through. But the way England have got better and better, you look how the bowling's got better. Jordan and Stokes at the death have been very good, they've been clever. I was worried about their bowling at the start of the tournament, I have to say, but they've got better, the bowlers. The batting is very strong all the way down to Moeen Ali. Willie can smash it at number 9, number 10. Absolutely, I thought, personally, you asked me a few weeks ago, West Indies-India final, but the draw ended up in a different way. It ended up as a semi-final. I think England have deserved to be here tomorrow.
Yeah, in performance, I think the teams that have played the better cricket are in the final. But you know, coming into the tournament, I thought the way India were playing, the games that they won, going to Australia and winning, beating Sri Lanka, winning the Asia Cup, all of that, the form they've shown, I thought they were going to be one of the teams to beat. And I thought South Africa, having played good white ball cricket last year in India, with De Villiers, with Du Plessis, so many IPL guys would have done better. So I would say that the teams that have played the best cricket are in the final by obvious standards.
How much is it pressure tomorrow? And because both teams will, for their cricket, it's a huge game. Morgan, Sammy, will it come down to pressure, or will they just go and express themselves?
It has to come down to pressure. You know, especially with the England side, some of these guys were just playing county cricket 6-9 months ago, not even dreaming of being here, let alone in a World Cup final. Whereas West Indies, I think they have been on the big stage so many times now, IPL games, etc. But a lot of this side played when they won a few years ago in Sri Lanka, so they've been there before. So it comes, I think West Indies will handle pressure fine. It really comes down to whether these guys believe, and I think they believe it, the England guys, that this is just another game. Go out and enjoy it. That's how they got here. They've got out here by being fearless and not worrying about the situation and the occasion. If they really believe that and put that into practice tomorrow, they've got a fantastic opportunity of creating history.
On that side, I think the West Indies, their sort of hurdle or obstacle to get over is the fact that coming into this tournament, there were so many things happening. You know, Pollard pulled out, Narayan pulled out, Simmons pulled out, Darren Bravo pulled out. There was issues with salary and payment, and so it was an unhappy team for a few weeks coming in. So having gotten to the final, are they now content and relaxed because they've overcome certain odds to get there, or do they want to go the entire journey? And that is going to be the question for me that will be answered tomorrow.
All right, so this is for both of you. Ian, for you, if there have been any red flags at all, if there have been any problem areas at all for the West Indies, what would that be? And then the same for Nasir too.
A couple of things. I think the bowling, we haven't seen Sammy bowling. His bowling has deteriorated over the years. So Bravo really has to strike, and Badri and Ben will do their thing. So the bowling sometimes can be a little questionable. Carlos Brathwaite is still very inexperienced at this level. And the fact that they don't run, they just don't run, because they're so strong and they muscle the ball, and that is their strength. I can't take that away from them. They've surpassed the expectation where that is concerned.
But that could have been a problem in the semi-final against India.
And that's the point I'm coming to, that when you look at the games they don't win over the years, it is because they have been denied those boundaries. There's not a second port of call to go to, but try stopping them scoring boundaries. It is something that very rarely happens.
Nasir, for England?
Well, like I said, the bowling was a concern for me right at the start of the tournament, and I was highlighted the way Gale dismantled them at Mumbai. They didn't have any plan B, etc. They just put it exactly where he wanted. But to be fair to them, every single game they've got better and better. The death bowling from Jordan and Stokes has been absolutely brilliant. Willie with a new ball. Every time in his first 2 overs, Willie has got some good players out with that swing, whether it be Dilshan, Mohammad Shahzada, Afghanistan game the other day against, who did they play? New Zealand, he got Guptill out in his second over, so he continuously gets wickets with a new ball. So they've improved all the time. The one other thing is that when they've started at each venue, they've not got the conditions right. Mumbai, they didn't quite get the conditions right, lost to the West Indies. Turned up at Delhi, new venue, 70 for 7 against Afghanistan, thinking it was going to spin square, and it didn't. So just tomorrow, when it's another new venue, they've been in Delhi for 10 days playing on that pitch, got used to it, now a new venue, early on they have to adapt quickly, because against Afghanistan you can recover from 70-7 with Moeen Ali and Willie. Against these guys, that's the World Cup gone. So very quickly tomorrow, whatever it's you're doing, batting or bowling, suss those conditions quickly.
Do you think, now that you've seen the pitch, both of you, do you think the toss will matter as much as it did in Mumbai?
Well, just talking to Saurabh today, Saurabh said there won't be any dew. So
yeah, there is generally no dew in Kolkata.
So I don't think that'll be a factor. There's some grass on, so if it's anything like I think the Pakistan-Bangladesh game, I don't think it'll be an issue. And we keep forgetting the women's final that will be played earlier as well. I mean, that's a big occasion for West Indies cricket as well. So that's an extra motivation. Each team wants to match the other
Before
one.
Nasser takes over, talk about that also. Women's final, West Indies in both finals. Huge statement.
Yeah, big. I mean, following on the under-19s winning the World Cup in Bangladesh not that long ago. So the women have been getting better. They've probably been the most improved team up to a year ago in West Indies cricket, and they're hungry for success. But they're coming up against an Australian team that you can either say maybe they'll be complacent, they've won 3 times before, how hungry are they? But on the other hand, they've got that experience of knowing how to stay calm in a final. So I think that will be huge for West Indies cricket, not just the men's, but the women tomorrow.
Winning both will be certainly sensational.
Listen, I'm obviously an England fan, but it would be great. I mean, English world cricket needs a strong West Indies.
Correct.
I know it's a bit of a cliche at the moment, but we do need a strong, besides these guys have had over the years. And if in the course of a few months they can win the under-19s, the women's and the men's, that will be a great boost. It's still one-day cricket and they have to focus on that red ball stuff, but it would still be great to, you know, I was on holiday in Barbados recently and they still stop you and still review about your team and still go on about their team. They're still passionate about the game, and it would be great.